I am going to try and do as much review physics stuff with you today as we can. I know that on Friday, a couple people had asked me about the structure of the AP exam, so I pulled that off of the website so we can talk about that briefly. I've got some ranking tasks that I just printed off, so there's lots of practice ranking task stuff. We can go through practice old homework questions. Some people had expressed some interest in looking at old tests, and I do have your projectile motion test to give back to you today as well. So we've got just kind of a lot of things to do, and I'm going to kind of follow this path, but then if there are places that you would like to focus throughout the however many 50 minutes or whatever we have together, we will just do that. Does that sound okay? Okay. So let's start with the structure, just because this was something that I've been kind of meaning to tell you for a long time, and also, it's kind of helpful to know. So I literally just copied this straight off of the College Board website. So the structure of the exam, there are two parts. This is, the exam that you're going to take in May, not the one you're going to take tomorrow. Okay. The multiple choice part is 50 questions. It's an hour and 30 minutes, so 90 minutes multiple choice. It's 50% of the exam score. There are some questions that are individual questions, like here's just a question, There are some that are in sets. This is similar to the stuff that you guys have been doing on standardized tests for ages. So like, here's a graph, and given this graph or given this piece of information or this picture, then answer like 3 or 4 questions about it, okay? And then there are some, and I'm not gonna give you any of these tomorrow, but we will practice with this before the AP exam, multiple select questions, where here are, here's a multiple choice question. 2 of them are correct. Pick the correct 2. The trick with this, I don't want to say trick because that sounds like it's sneaky, but it's not. The important thing to know is that in order to get it right, you have to get both answers. And it's not partial credit, okay? And you can argue with me or argue with whatever you want for as long as you want. I can't affect it. You can't affect it. It just is part of reality. So we're going to need to learn how to do it, right? Okay. What's that?
It's not very catchable.
Life is hard sometimes, right? But we got it. So anyway, that's what the multiple choice section looks like, okay? You get the equation sheet. I'm pretty sure you get your calculator for the whole thing. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But most of that is not going to be calculation based. Section 2 is the free response section. There are 5 questions. Again, an hour, 30 minutes. So it's exactly half of the exam. It's exactly half of the percentage. It's exactly half of everything. There's always one experimental design question and this can look a few different ways. So it could be like, here's a setup. How would you make a lab to do this, right? Like identifying the variables and literally writing out. They're really, really into writing things out now. Write out how you would implement this and how you would do the analysis, okay? So there's always a question like that. There's always at least one quantitative, qualitative translation question, which these are often like, here is some data, what does it mean? Or here is an explanation, what would this look like? That kind of question. And then there are 3 short answer questions. One of them requires a paragraph length argument. So that's, again, writing. So I'm telling you this just for, full transparency, full, disclosure. We will practice all of this a lot before May, okay? Because we only are doing a 45-minute test tomorrow, you will not have all of this. Does that make sense? You will for sure not have any multiple select questions. I'm not going to throw that at you tomorrow, okay? And there will be 1, maybe 2 free response questions and just a few multiple choice that you'll see tomorrow, okay? Questions?
Does that mean we're going to have to answer it like you usually have us answer the multiple choice where you pick an answer and explain?
You will not have to do the explanation tomorrow. No, because I'm going to try and get it timed. Does that make sense? So make it more like an AP exam.
Like
Yeah, but it's going to be like a little fraction of an AP exam, really. So there'll be a few multiple choice questions and then 1 or 2 free response. I haven't figured out exactly how big they are. One thing that I have not been doing, because most of the questions that we've been doing so far on tests have not been actual AP questions. They've been kind of AP style. But actual AP questions generally have kind of like a time guideline on them. So I will try to help you with that, and that will kind of guide my test writing as well. Okay, so just kind of know that that's what we'll be looking for. And then I will grade it based on the AP rubric and then based on the AP like percentages. We'll go through all of that on Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, so don't stress out about that. Sometimes people are like, well, how many points do I need? Here's the deal. Do your best, right? There should never be a time when you're taking a test or doing anything where you're not doing your best. Do your best and we'll see where it falls out. Does that make sense? Don't be like, oh, I only have to do this much. No, like just do it because that's good for you.
Is there a break at all for the AP physics?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Isn't there usually a break between like one and the, not like a, get up and like run around, but like, yes, like breathe for a minute. Yes. Yeah. And you can't, like if you finish the multiple choice, you can't go onto the free response ahead of time. Yeah, it's like you do this and then you do this.
Yeah, in the break
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, it's a fair question. Yeah. It's a fair question. Other questions about this before we move on?
Multiple select questions. Do you know which ones are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That would be really mean. So when they were first writing the AP Physics 1 test, they were like, when they were doing the multiple select thing, they're like, choose the correct number. And so it could have been like one correct answer or two or three or four. And teachers were like, that's really not very cool. Like that, because then there's just so much anxiety associated with that. Like, is it supposed to be three or, and so the negotiation, I was not in the room, but I know somebody who was, and apparently it was kind of heated, like, but the decision they came to, I think it's 5 of the 50, but I can't remember for sure. I think that's right. Of the 50 are multiple select, and they come at the end. It's like, these are the multiple select questions. Select 2 answers. Yes. Yeah. So that makes it a little bit better, right? Yeah. I know, for sure. Yeah. Other questions about this before we move on? Okay. So that's the big thing that I needed to tell you. Beyond that, like I said, I have these 3 are really in no particular order. I've got just a set of ranking tasks for you to work on if that would make you happy. We can do old homework practice questions. I didn't pull any specific ones out because I didn't know how much time we would have, and I didn't want to say, oh, we got to do this one. But somebody had said yesterday, the goat problem, and somebody else had said the string with the 2 boxes. So we can do that stuff for sure. We can also, I think some people wanted to look over tests, and I've got your Unit 2C tests. So this is a proposal. May I throw this out there, and then you guys can tell me if this doesn't sound okay? I'm going to give you your C tests. Those are the projectile motion. No. Yeah, projectile motion tests. That's what we just did, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure. So we're doing things in a different order than in the regular physics, and so I get confused. And then I can get these other 3 tests out for you to look at if you'd like. Maybe we do this for a little while for 15 minutes, and then we regroup and look at old homework questions. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. And then I'll put this out over maybe on this table so you can just come grab it whenever you want it. Does that sound all right? Okay. So let's do it.